Alright, I wanted you guys to see that excellent introduction for the ClubDay MSL 2008. This is Cholera, and I am bringing you Group E of the round of 32 of the MSL. And in this matchup, we're going to have Stork, Cal, C, and Hero fighting for the right to move on to the round of 16. This is game one. This is Stork versus Cal, a Protoss versus Protoss, and it should be very exciting, I think. Stork, of course, a absolutely dominant player this year, this season. He's really, he's really shown he's come back from extinction. The dinosaur Protoss has, and he is tearing it up in both the OSL and the MSL, I think. And just especially in the OSL, he's going to be facing a Protoss versus Protoss against Bisu. Actually, I might end up casting that, or Diggity and Moletrap will end up casting that. But here we're going to see another Protoss versus Protoss. He's facing Cal. Stork is 65% against Protoss. Cal is 50% against Protoss. And I think Stork is definitely a favorite to leave this group of four. I think the other two players in contention, Cal and C, will probably, out of the other three rather, Cal and C will probably be contending for that second spot out. And I think it's going to be fairly close. Hero is actually a pretty strong player, but unfortunately his PvP is very poor. It's only 29% win rate. But in any case, this first game will be on Athena, and this is, once again, Cal versus Stork. This is Cal here at the 2 o'clock location, and he just changed to yellow. And Stork is going to be the Protoss at the 9 o'clock location here on Athena 2. And yeah, by the way, before I do any casts of dual race, same race matchups, I do check the colors beforehand, so I don't end up casting the entire game with the wrong colors. I do recommend other casters do that too. Athena 2 is slightly different from the original Athena. I believe the main differences are that you have one fewer mineral patch in your natural expansion, and those 3 expansions on the middle of the map, sort of on plateaus, now have 2 ramps leading to them rather than 1, which is going to make them harder to hold for Terran players especially. And I think this is going to maybe try to balance out this map a bit, at least in the Zerg versus Terran matchup, and also possibly in the Zerg versus Protoss matchup, because now the Protoss also will not be able to cannon up one of the choke points and hold those islands relatively easily in the middle of the map. I think if it was on anything but a Protoss versus Protoss, we'd be looking for the use of gas, because it's fairly easy to pick up 4 gas in this matchup. You can just pick up your main, your natural, and then another natural, another main, and there's several of them. There's the 3rd base at the 6 o'clock location. There's also another set of these bases at the 4 and at the 8 o'clock locations. Here we see Cal scouting after Gateway here, moving south. He's going to scout in the wrong direction, and Stork actually choosing to try to save on his economy a little bit by not scouting. We'll see if this changes the game a little bit. And as you can see, here's the ramp leading towards the central bases. So this is going to make the central bases on Athena much more difficult to hold, and hence much less profitable, I think. I think they're going to end up being something like the expansions in the middle on Wuthering Heights, where they're there. Certainly you could pick them up if you have map control, but otherwise it would be a rather grave risk to do so, and without necessarily that much reward. Second pylon going up for Cal here before gas, and we're seeing the first divergence here actually pretty early on. Stork is going to have a little bit of a technological lead, and Cal's going to have a little bit of a resource advantage here by going for that second pylon, picking up a couple more probes along the way there, and we'll see how that diverges here. Maybe Stork is thinking about doing some kind of one gateway into robotics facility build there, which certainly could be very powerful in Athena. And Stork, of course, is absolutely a monster when it comes to reverse shuttle micro, as you see in the game against Backho in the OSL round of 16. You guys should all check it out. It's on the Violotech account. Moletrap and I did that game. And Stork came back from a gigantic deficit when he lost pretty much all of his probes, actually all his bases, to reaver drops, and yet he still came back with a brilliant last-minute push. And Manor Pylon being put up there from Backho, only trapping, looks like 1 probe, but it's certainly going to slow Stork down a little bit, and it's going to allow Stork to, it's going to allow the probe to harass a little bit more. And here we're seeing Cal move up here, and Cal setting up another Manor Pylon. Nice. This time I think he got 2 probes this time, and certainly doing a nice job there. And it looks like another Zealot coming in from Cal, trying to take out one of the probes of Stork, trying to make up for this slight bit of disadvantage he's had by putting down these pylons. Picks off 1 probe, actually. Nice micro there from Cal. And Cal might be able to pick off another probe. That would be huge, actually. But looks like no, he won't be able to. Most likely that Dragoon and that Zealot will take care of the 1 Zealot from Cal there. And Cal's still just trying to do some damage, trying to make that Zealot worthwhile. Looks like he won't be able to, but certainly has bought him a little time. So for that Manor Pylon to be doing some damage. So I think this might give Cal a little bit of an advantage in terms of economy here in the early game. We'll have to see how it plays out, and we'll see if Stork decides to go for that early robotics facility like I am predicting. We're seeing, I believe, range upgrade there. Yes, I think the Cybernetics core was spinning there for, yeah, it is spinning there for Cal. And the Stork's scouting probe is going to go down now. Yeah, we are seeing the early robotics facility now from Stork. So Stork going for that earlier gas, and most likely for Reavers first here. Or actually, certainly for Reavers first. And really, I think there's a lot of StarCraft out right now, and you guys should certainly be excited. The OSL is now heating up in the round of 8. The Pro League is actually going to start up again. I believe it's already started up as of this weekend. The GOM TV Avatel Intel Classic is certainly, well, it's still in the early stages, but they do show every game, and of course Boxer has played recently, so certainly do check that out. And we're seeing, interesting enough, oh, I thought that was 3 gateways for a second. That's actually a robotics facility and a second gateway there from Cal, so that's actually pretty standard. I thought for a second he was going to go for a backhoe-like build, backhoe playing against, I believe it was Best, and he went for this 3 gateway push against Best, which turned out not to work on Medusa. We're seeing actually 3 gateways going up for Stork, so Stork choosing to put up, yeah, he's going actually 3 gateways and going for the early observatory, so I am actually wrong in that prediction. He's going to be going for a relatively early Dragoon push here, and it's going to be quite strong actually with those 3 gates pumping out. He might also pick up an expansion while he's pushing on Cal. Those observers are actually just for a possible Dark Templar rush, and we'll see if Cal decides to go for an observatory too. Yeah, he's going to go for that observatory first, at least. And we'll see if he decides to go for Reavers first. Interesting enough from Stork, actually. I'd expect that he would be the one going for Reavers, but looks like he's actually interesting enough. He doesn't have robotics support bait, but he's getting that shuttle out, and he might be going for some kind of cute little maybe elevator trick, maybe trying to ferry some of his Dragoons into Cal's base. We'll have to see. Cal, of course, is not going to get that scout with the probe. It's not going to go anywhere. And interesting enough, another shuttle being produced for Cal also. So both players are considering doing something with their shuttles. We'll have to see what it is exactly. On this map, Athena, I'm not that familiar with the game, so I'm not sure exactly if there's any kind of exploits you can take advantage of. But no, it looks like actually they were just pre-building it, and yeah, it looks like actually they're just pre-building it and waiting for the Reaver to come out. So we're actually not going to see any interesting, ferrying trick or anything like that. In any case, so Stork now pushing towards Cal's base. I believe they're pretty much converged in their builds right now. I think Cal might be, yeah, Cal might have 1 fewer gateways, and Stork, Stork. I think basically they're going to have the same number of units though. I think Cal might be 1 behind on the Dragoons. And we'll see if that makes any difference in the middle of the map. Cal also might be setting up his natural expansion here, so it's going to come down to a battle in the middle, I think. And those Reavers are going to be very important, of course, in any battle in the center. So both players setting up here. And while I have a chance here, I'm going to give a shout out to one of my new friends from Princeton. Her name is Hazel, and she's actually trying to create a collegiate StarCraft Pro League, starting at Princeton, and she wants to expand it to other colleges and set up some sort of Starleague between colleges, or at least an internet Starleague. And I think that's a really good idea. So if you're at Princeton and listening to it, I know she wanted me to give a shout out because she wants you guys to contact her. Her name is, I guess her screen name is hazely. I'll put it in the descriptions. Certainly, it's something I would participate in if I were still in college right now. Anyway, so we're seeing Stork. Just try to regroup at his main base. He's not actually pushing out or anything like that. Both players are playing a very sort of terse game here, a very taut game. Neither player wants to push in and possibly lose a Reaver or a shuttle, and that would be very disastrous. Both just want to build up their forces and really just collide when they feel like it's about the right time to do so. Cal putting up his 3rd gateway now, and we're really seeing, a very interesting sort of back and forth game here. Neither player wants to commit, and just reminds me a little bit of games, for example, in the TSL a few months ago, the Team Liquid Starleague, where the Protoss was